I like sports, and that's it.
Yo, what's up? It's the one and only Lyse.
And it's your girl Velz, aka Kevelle, if that's what you want to call me.
And together we're
Loc'd N Sports.
Hey, Bill, we got a good one today.
Man, we got a special show for y'all today.
Huh.
Very special guest.
Yeah.
That means a lot to both of us.
For sure.
And we are very proud of her.
Yeah.
And we have the honor and the pleasure of interviewing her today, but we're gonna introduce her a little properly.
You know what I'm saying?
Before we get started. So
I could not be more proud to be sitting next to this woman right here today than I am now. I'm talking about a high school state basketball champion. I'm talking about a power lifter for Team USA.
Yes.
I'm talking about a 2022 winter Olympic medalist.
Yes.
I'm talking about Arlington's very own Miss Sylvia, Superwoman Hoffman. Give it up for her. Hey. What's up, Sil?
What's going on? I'm good, Chalyse.
Hey, man. Welcome to Loc'd N Sports.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, man. We gonna give you your flowers. At the end of the day, this is about you. This is for you.
Yeah.
And we just want you to have a good time, have a good conversation with us, and hey, let's not waste no time with it.
Hey.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate you coming through, Sylvia. Taking time out of your busy schedule.
For sure.
'Cause I know you're trying to see everybody at one time. I know everybody wants to see you.
Of course.
All of the above. But we're just going to jump right into it, you know.
Cool.
So if you could, please start us off with the beginning. You know, how this all started.
Right.
So I mean, just like everybody, you know, I grew up, you know, wanting to play sports. You know, I recognized kind of like what I wanted to do, super active as a child. So it was almost kind of like, you know, like automatic for me. It was more so just like, okay, well, what sport do I want to do? And, you know, basketball came along. My dad was like, hey, here's the basketball. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, so like WNBA was out and it was a thing that a lot of women were doing, young girls. They were trying to, you know, like make the team for the WNBA for the first time. It was big in the United States. So, you know, that's what I pursued. But, you know, also like I kind of felt like it wasn't my dream. I felt like it was like more so everyone else's dream to have me in the WNBA, and I'm like, you know, cool, I'll play. Yeah. But I really wanted to play overseas. I'm like, you know, they kind of get paid a little bit more overseas. I was like, so it was the thing, and I wasn't oblivious to it. So you know, like I went through high school. We won state championship for Bowie High School. Shout out to James Bowie High. We're still the only team. I want to say that we are the only team.
I'm trying to take a shot, y'all, because we went to Sam Houston. That's all right. It's
in
okay.
Arlington, Texas.
That's okay.
That has won a state championship. So yeah, like I said, that's my alma mater. You know, so I went through high school wanting to play basketball, and I did it. Went through college also playing basketball. Went to Kilgore College in East Texas. Went to LSU Shreveport, Louisiana, and I could tell by the decisions that I was making, it wasn't necessarily basketball oriented. It was more so of like, what is going to be the best scholastic route for me so I can, you know, become a computer science major, you know, like, and what can I do in the work world at this point? But when I went to LSU Shreveport, I didn't know there was an Olympic training site there. So there was a USA weightlifting official training site for development athletes. It was a high performance development center, and you know, it was on campus. And I thought it was the coolest things. I'm like, wow, you know, you guys, you know, Team USA, like, and it didn't really dawn on me. It didn't register like what they were really competing for. Right. And you know, it was the first time I met my first Olympian. I met Kendrick Ferris there. Now he's a 3-time Olympian for USA weightlifting.
Amazing.
And you know, like, so I started asking around. I'm like, what are you guys training for? You know, they're just like, oh, Junior Worlds. I'm like, what is that? Yeah. You know, I'm just like, they're like, Junior World Championships. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, where are they going to be? And they're like, it's going to be in Malaysia. I'm like, what? You guys, wait, you're in school. Yeah. And you're training for international competition for USA weightlifting to represent Team USA. I was like, sign me up. Sign me up. I'm ready for it. And, you know, like, they were just like, you know, they thought I was joking. So after I finished my 4 years of college ball, I decided to start, like going into the weight room, and I come back every day and I'm like, hey, put me on the team. And they thought I was joking. So I like lift some weights, didn't know what I was doing, like leave and like, hey, see you guys next time. And, I'll come back and, I was just like, hey, I'm trying to be on the team. What can I, what can I do? Mm-hmm. And they're just like, yeah, and like the coach thought I was joking. I love the guy. And he was just like, you're serious? I was like, yes, I'm very serious. And so he's like, all right, like I'll give you a program. And so I ended up starting the next day. So that's how I got with USA weightlifting.
So I got a question for you. Since you do the power weightlifting. Now I remember back in junior high, you had scoliosis. Mm-hmm. First of all, can you explain to us and everybody else what is scoliosis?
So scoliosis is a curvature of the spine. Mm-hmm. It can be in multiple places. I mean, it's the entire spine. It can be like neck, upper back, lower back, the entire thing. There's C curves, there's S curves. I have technically an S curve. Okay. So like throughout my thoracic, there's like a larger curve that's in between my shoulder blades. Mm-hmm. That usually gives me the most problems. But I was diagnosed with scoliosis in the end of 7th grade, going into 8th grade in junior high. So I was just like devastated. I thought my life was over, thought athletics was over. I cried a bunch, but like I had a whole bunch of friends that were just like, they had my back. They're just like, like you got this, like it was very weird to kind of deal with as a child, but like, like some doctors were just like, look, your athletic career is probably over. And other people was just like, it could be, like anything can happen. Mm-hmm. So I kind of took that anything can happen and I applied it to everything that I was doing. Mm-hmm. And, like I had to wear the brace 16 to 18 hours a day. Wow. Oh my goodness. Mostly it was like during class, overnight when I'm sleeping, so then that way I'm getting the most benefit out of it. But I was able to actually still do sports. So like I had another friend that she wasn't able to do that much. So she had to wear hers, I think 20 to 22 hours a day. And she wore hers during sports and everything. And I was just like, man, when you look at situations, you can always be in a worse situation. Right. And in my case, I was just like, okay, we caught it at a good time. It's not that bad. Mm-hmm. You can still be, mobile, you can still move. You don't have to like use your brace during, like athletics. So like I just took those little moments of time that I had to enjoy sports, to just enjoy them and do the best that I could. And, at the end of the day, it's like I think I was named most athletic at my junior high 2 years in a row.
Got the yearbook to prove it.
So it's like certain stuff, like I guess just didn't stop me because I just wanted to just do my best, because it made me feel good to just do sports.
Of course. So do you think that, did that hinder you any kind of way? Like, is that something that could be corrected over time?
It depends on when it's caught and, how bad it is and just what you're wanting to do. Because most curves that are caught at early ages or early sign, so to speak, they're not bad enough to where you need surgery. Mm-hmm. So I believe it's like 50 degrees or worse, they automatically just start saying, hey, you know what, you need surgery. Mm-hmm. My curve was caught at 39 degrees. Okay. So they were just like, you have an early sign. We're going to use this back brace to keep it from getting worse. So it did go from 39 to 35 when I wore it a bunch. And then I had someone tell me, asked me, was I wearing it one day? And I was like, no. And I was just like, and she was like, oh, it looks like you're wearing it. I was like, oh, does it? So I stopped wearing it as much because it looked like I was wearing my brace. Right. And to the point where my curve actually went back to 39 degrees. And I was just like, crap, so then so I started wearing it a little bit more. It stayed the same for all 4 years in college. And then like as of today, I'm 32 years old. My curve is at 43 degrees. So it actually hasn't gotten that much worse. Right. I've gone, it was caught at 12. I'm 32. It's not that bad. So I was like, I can hang with that because I've had muscle development. I've been through sports, through all these things. And it's 20 years later, like it's a few degrees. I'm like, I can work with this and make sure it doesn't get any worse. So I'm in a good place.
Good. Because you mentioned that you got into the weightlifting, just kind of seeing the people in the weight room, doing things like that. What were some of the challenges that you faced, even starting?
There wasn't many challenges. It was just, your weight training. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. It's weight training in Olympic lifts, the snatch and a clean and jerk. And you do various exercises like presses, squats, deadlifts, cleans, you know, like push snatch. Like we do multiple exercises to accomplish, you know, like the best snatch that we can produce in competition and the best clean and jerk as well. So for me, I mean, it was just, you know, just go in and do, you know, like lift and, you know, do strategic things to not hurt yourself. Right. So that's pretty much it. Like, you know, it's just like any other sport. You just get into it. If you enjoy it, you're going to continue. If you don't enjoy it, then you'll find something different. Right. But, you know, every sport's not for everyone. Right. And, I mean, weightlifting, I love weightlifting. Yeah. It's been...
Got the body to prove it.
Yeah. Yeah, I love weightlifting, man. It's been great. You know, it's taught me a lot of like self-control mentally. You know, I've learned, you know, my body that much better because like it is a weight-bearing sport. So, you know, we have to maintain like our body weights at certain points in competition. So for me, I had to lose weight. I had to lose a couple kilos, and it was like, lose kilos where? You know, yeah.
Right.
It's like my body fat at the time, I think was like, you know, 14.9.
You ain't got to brag.
And, you know, I think at the, like, towards competition, it'd be like a 12. I think that was the lowest I've gotten is a 12.9. And I was just like, that was a little rough for me. But anyway, like, so losing weight and stuff was hard. So I guess, yeah, that's your answer to the question is like, that was the hardest thing to figure out. But by my second year, I kind of had it like a little bit down packed by then.
So what's like your diet like?
Oh, you know, that's a dangerous question because I actually love food. So, so when people ask me that question, what do you eat? I don't know. Like, I eat everything. Wow. But the thing is, I eat clean foods. So I don't go, you know, to the fast food restaurants all the time. Like, I'd rather like go to the grocery store, cook my meal, and then know exactly what's in it, as opposed to eat out when you don't necessarily know what's in it. They're using different spices, different oils that, you know, could like either make you gain weight or lower your weight, up your intake of cholesterol. So it's just, there's so many things that comes with eating out, but you can still have the joys of doing so. So, I mean, I don't get like the craziest thing on the menu, but like I tend to kind of like stay within my realms of like the leaner meats, you know, stuff like that. I vary my meats. Like I'll do fish, steak, chicken, you know, I've gone to lamb, I've gone to duck, like when those things are available. I know everyone doesn't eat these things, or they may even be scared to do so, but it's like you have several options to choose from with your diet. It's like choose the best one that you like, experiment with the things that you're not too familiar with, but then, you know, it's like if you eat 3,000 calories and you're only burning 1,000 or 2,000 a day, guess what's going to happen? You'll probably gain weight. So there's that. But I've never been one to count calories, really. Never been one to count macros and micros. It's just knowing what you want to do with your diet, how clean you want to eat. Yeah. You know, like have some fun with it.
Got you. So, you know, we've already talked about powerlifting and weightlifting, you know, like at the end of your...
Well, I got to stop you there. So I've heard the word powerlifting several times on air right now. Let's give the difference between powerlifting and Olympic weightlifting. Okay. So powerlifting consists of bench press, deadlift, and squats. Olympic weightlifting is different. We compete in the snatch and the clean and jerk. That's it. Gotcha. So powerlifting has like the three lifts that they do. And there is a USA powerlifting team for those that are curious if you can do that on a professional level. The answer is yes. Olympic weightlifting, you do specific movements to get your snatch better, which is the movement from the floor to overhead in one motion. And then the clean and jerk is when you go from the floor to your shoulders and then you jerk it over your head. So there's two movements.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, and it's the most explosive movement that the human can produce. So, yeah, so that's the difference between powerlifting and Olympic weightlifting. Right. Very different sports, USA weightlifting, and then there's USA powerlifting.
All right.
So going from Olympic weightlifting to bobsledding, what made you make that switch to bobsledding?
Well, I wanted to make an Olympic team, and weightlifting was not going to get me there anymore. I think it was an uphill battle, like the second half of my weightlifting career. And, you know, like it came from the beginning. If I had a little bit more technical a technical approach of like how to do the lifts, why am I doing certain exercises, you know, and then also like how great I could be in the sport, because no one really told me how great I could be until like the third, fourth year, and I'm just like, what? I was like, I could have been world champion, I could be Olympian. I was like, wait a minute, like why am I just now getting this information to me?
Who told you that?
My current coach, Zygmunt Smausers.
Where'd you meet him?
I met him at my first international competition, my first year, in Eilat, Israel.
Good.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So, just another question for you. When did you realize that you could actually, go all the way with it as far as like the bobsledding goes?
I think I've always kind of known deep down. It's like one of those things where you know where you are in life, you know what you're capable of, you've seen your competition, you know what type of organization that you're working for and in. And I just took those moments of just like, okay, let's put this all together. What do I have? I was like, okay, I have a really great shot at making my first Olympic team in this sport. If I do A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Right.
And, so I'm like, I can do these things, and, I took the time and I learned the sport. I learned the people my first year. I got to know everyone. I got to travel. So like my first year, I made my first World Cup team.
Wow.
So I got to actually travel on World Cup my first year, compete on World Cup.
Amazing.
I was able to race with my current driver that actually, helped us win bronze at the Olympics.
Come on, man.
I raced with her my first year in the sport, Alana Myers-Taylor. So I kind of got to work my way up from, let's just say, like it's the lowest World Cup level you can go, because there's North American Cups that just stays in North America, and then there's the European Cup circuit. It's mostly obviously in Europe, and then I think Asia has like their Asian circuit that they have over there. But I went to Europe for the World Cup, which is a combination of different tracks in the world.
Okay.
So it was great. Like I learned a bunch, and after that it was just like, okay, create a plan for yourself. I created a 4-year plan, and I just kind of got down and started just doing what I needed to do to be healthy, get better, make the next team. Make sure I'm like staying number one, because I was winning national championships every year since I've been in the sport.
Yeah.
And I wanted to maintain that, and I was able to do that.
Yeah. Since I've known you, Sylvia, you've just been like a confident person. You've always been persistent, never gave up. You set your mind to do something and you're going to do it. Was there ever a time that you wanted to just say, forget it and give up?
I remember there wasn't a give up. There's never been a give up portion of my thought process, especially within bobsled or in weightlifting, or in basketball, nothing of that nature. But there are moments that we all go through where it's just like, do we want to continue down this path because of all of these other things, whether they're good or positive or negative, or do we want to change paths and see if there's something else available? Right. There was a time my first year, there was some things that happened. And, like I was really going through those moments of like, do I want to continue bobsled? Because, I was in a situation to where, there was some blame being kind of thrown out, and I'm just like, this is a team sport. We're all in this together. It's not just one person, and it was a situation where I was just like, that's unacceptable.
Right.
And, I was just like, there were other NGBs that had wanted me to compete with them for Team USA. And I was just like, I have options. I was like, I don't have to be here. So those were those thoughts. I'm like, well, I could stay and kind of, go through this motion, or, I could say, hey, I'm packing my bags, I'm out. And I thought about it, and like, one of the coaches came over and he spoke to me, and he was just like, what's up? And we spoke, and, like some things, we kind of, we squashed it, and then, we went forward, and then, since then it's been like, okay, let's get down and get to it.
I love it.
I know. Never give up. I mean, so you touched on like having to go through some of those trials, and my question for you though is like, how do you get yourself back in that space when things aren't going how you want them to go? What puts you back in that go-getter mindset?
Well, I think first of all, it comes with wanting to know exactly what you want to accomplish and how you want to do it.
Right.
I knew what I wanted to accomplish. I wanted to make my first Olympic team.
Yeah.
Winning a medal is the next step, obviously. Like, I can start from the opposite. I want to be a gold medalist.
Right.
And then, well, like, hey, you know what? I want to be an Olympic medalist. Okay, cool. Maybe that didn't work out. Well, I'm an Olympian. So because there's like a top-down factor, I'm still able to like kind of like reach for these higher goals and higher things that I want. So for me, it's just like, pick a direction. If you want to do it, do it. Like, if you don't want to do it, stop wasting people's time. Because in business, especially, you can be replaced. Also in athletics, you can be replaced.
Right.
I learned that very quickly. And I saw it because I seen it in person. It was when I first joined weightlifting. And, we had our Colombian team there. They were training for Pan American Games or Pan American Championships, whatever, Pan Ams. And they had people come over in waves. And, like there was the first wave that came over, really great group of people were still friends to this day. And, the second wave came over and, a kid came and he didn't hit a total that they wanted him to hit. They said, hey, you need to hit these numbers in training or you're going home. And he didn't. And they sent him home. He was capable of doing it, but for some reason that day, whether it was tired, lack of like mental focus, I don't know, but he got sent home. And I was just like, wow, this is a business. Like, and they're also government funded. Well, I think, don't quote me on that. But yeah, they're funded in different ways from the United States. And I was like, at that moment, I'm like, I can be sent home. He can be sent home. Right. All of us can be sent home. Yes. Business-wise, if you're not doing your job at work, you can be replaced. There's thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that want to be in your position. Yeah. So it's like, if you're not going to do what you need to do, stop wasting those people's time. Right. And, go find something else. Yeah. So that's pretty much how I look at it. I'm like, how do I stay focused? Well, what do I want to do? I want to be here. I want to do these things. I want to compete at the highest level. So how do I do those things? Well, you have to train. You have to eat right. You have to do some sacrificing of time with friends and family. You have to be away sometimes. You have to make the tough decisions of, okay, should I stay in tonight? Is that a tough decision? Right. Should I stay in tonight? Should I stay in tonight or should I go out?
I'm too old now. I don't care. Y'all go out.
It's really a tough decision.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, Beyonce said it best. Don't you ever get to thinking that you're irreplaceable.
Right. Definitely.
That's strong. So you mentioned having those sacrifices of being away. So how does it feel to be away from your family and friends for so long? Because you're based out of Colorado Springs, right? So you've been out there for a while.
Yeah, I live out there actually. Yeah,
man.
So was it 10 years out there now?
Yeah, almost 10 years. I moved out there in 2013.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So how's that? How's like being out there in the way, having to make that decision? Like, I'm going after mine. I'm leaving things behind and chasing my dream. How does that feel? Like I said.
Well, I moved to Colorado for work purposes. Okay. So it wasn't for athletics. It just so happened to be with Olympic weightlifting. There's a weightlifting gym everywhere. There was weightlifting gyms. Now there's tons of CrossFit gyms that sprung up. So it's like weightlifting was there already. I was moving for, job purposes. I just graduated college. I was in Shreveport, Louisiana, and I felt like it wasn't industrialized enough for me. And it didn't have like certain things that I look for, like, okay, like what's nightlife like, like what's exploring like, so like it just didn't like kind of fit me as a person. But it was a great city to like, finish school in. So, I just I couldn't figure out where I wanted to go. And, was it the East Coast? Was it the West Coast? Was it back to Texas? Was it, what is it? And, my roommates at the time, like, they both did weightlifting. And, my friend Susie, she had went to Israel with us. Right. Wow. And she medaled. So she was actually offered a resident athlete position at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, Colorado. So she was invited as a resident athlete, and she said, well, hey, we're moving to Colorado. Do you just want to come with us? And I was like, sure, you know, like
Just
let's do
that.
it. Yeah, that's how it happened, and it just said, sure, let's go. We packed up the house. We drove to Colorado. We unpacked, and you know, like we were roommates and stuff, and you know, everyone still continued to train in weightlifting and try to, you know, compete for Team USA at the Olympics. And I found like some jobs, so like I, you know, went Geek Squad route, so I can try to get some more experience under my belt, and then I was hired on with Hewlett Packard. You know, I think later on that year, so it was like it was a quick turnaround. So it was like. It was great. I was like, this is what I moved here for. And then also, I was still competing. I had made my second international team. I was going to Russia that next summer. You know, so like, it was like, okay, all the pieces are falling into place. You know, it wasn't hard. It was just like, okay, this is the opportunity. I could either do it. Yes, I want to do it. Let's move. So we moved, and, you know, I still had everything with me. Now, did I know Colorado was Olympic City, USA? No. I didn't know they had Olympic Training Center there. I was still new to weightlifting, didn't know any of that, but it's kind of like Olympic City capital, because literally there's a bunch of sports that go out there. I mean, it's amazing. It's beautiful. There's mountains.
I love
There's a little
mountains.
bit of different.
What Drake say, views?
Views. Every day it's like, man, that's nice.
Yeah, you wake up and you just backdrop a mountain. Boy.
So like we mentioned before, Sylvia, you are an Olympic medalist. Like, girl, first of all, I was in my room watching. Mind you, I'm in my PJs.
Okay.
Right? It's early. Y'all were competing early.
Right.
The day that y'all medaled, and man, I literally cried. I was extremely happy for you.
I cried too.
You better cry.
So, you know, before you medaled, before the competition, how was it getting that phone call that you made the Olympics?
Oh, back in January? Oh, yeah. So, they announced the teams January 17th, and I was in St. Moritz, Switzerland. And, you know, they had a little meeting. We didn't even do it on like an actual like in person. It was like a call. So, you know, because everyone's still worried about COVID stuff. So, you know, like we were all on a call, and they started like naming the team. And, you know, I ended up just started videoing everything. I'm just like, you know what, I'm just going to video my reaction. And, you know, it was the most subtle reaction. But I was just very like emotional. I'm just like, wow, you just made the Olympic team.
That's that cancer.
I was like, you just, you know, you got to stay chill. You know, some people be like, oh, I got, you know, don't get me wrong. Like that was also happening, you know, inside of me. But I was also the only person in my little room at the time. So I was just like, it might be, I'm not going to say it would be weird, but I don't, you know, it just didn't seem like if there was people that I'd have been like, I got, you know, but also because they were naming everyone, you still kind of want to know like, okay, who's on the team, who's not on the team. I think it cut out a little bit. So I was like, who did they just say? You know, like, I like missed a couple of the men's names, and I was just like, oh my God, someone just dropped off the call, but apparently like he made the team too, and I was just like, I didn't know that until I like seen him later. So it was like, I mean, it was emotional for all of us, you know, the ones that made it and the ones that didn't, because everyone did their best, everyone tried their hardest, you know, and I think they named the alternate at the time too, like both alternates for the men's and women's team. And the alternate position is very difficult. Like you're helping out everyone. And it's a tough job. And, you know, it was, like I said, it was tough, I think, emotionally for everyone, just because of like what everyone had gone through, you know, the type of season we were on. I mean, for the women's team, we had 6 brakewomen on tour. That's so unnatural in so many ways. We had two sleds and 6 brakewomen, and usually, you know, if there's 2 sleds, there's 4 brakewomen, you know, there's just the alternate. But, you know, like we've been trying to have an extra brakeman on tour, like a 5th person, because like we have monobob, and with monobob, there's just the one driver, no brakeman. So the driver pushes the sled, they jump in, they drive the sled down the hill, and then, you know, they're pulling the brakes at the end. And, you know, with that being said, that's an extra set of 4 runners that you have to prepare. The runners are the metal that touches the ice. If they're all scratched up and stuff, you go slow. If they're, you know, smooth as possible, no nicks, no whatever, you go faster. So like that's kind of like the simplest term. So like we'll do sand, you know, we'll sand the runners down, but like all of that sanding, like it's not 4-man where, you know, each person can just grab a runner. This is just 2 women. And we have an extra set of runners to sand or sled work to do.
Right.
So like it just like the workload just didn't match, you know, how many people we would have. So we started trying to have like 5 people on tour for third year. That's when monobob was entered into the World Cup circuit. So for us, it was just like, okay, yes, we need help, but at the same time, 6 brake women. We don't have 3 sleds. We have 2 sleds. You know, when are these people going to be racing? When are they going to be sliding? Because not only did they enter the monobob on the World Cup circuit, but they also removed a training day that we had during the week to prepare for race day. We used to have 3 official training days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then they dropped it down to Tuesday, Thursday. So, and we can get like a maximum of 3 runs if we wanted. I think it was 2 runs during the week when we had 3 official training days. But now that it's just the 2, we just have 3 and 3. Wow. So it's like, well, pick your poison. Yeah. Everyone's not going to go, but maybe we can get some numbers. And it was rough for everyone. You know, it was a tough season. We had, you know, returning Olympians. We had returning Olympic medalists like, you know, Asia Evans. You know, I got to shout her out because she was the alternate for the women's team. Okay. And she's a 2-time Olympian and a bronze medalist out of Sochi. And, you know, like she came back 1 year, like literally the Olympic year, and she made the national team because she's still just that fast. Wow. Like, just that fast.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah, she's a beast, and I love her, and I'm glad that she was with us on at the games because she's experienced. Yeah. And I know it was a tough decision for her to be in, because she was an alternate and she wasn't racing. I mean, she had to work that much harder after she had already made the games a couple of times. She went to Sochi, won bronze. She went to Pyeongchang, and I think they got 4th, her and Jamie Gruber-Poser. And, you know, to be at her 3rd Olympic Games, and, you know, it was rough, but I'm happy, and I think, you know, it was a blessing for her to be present. Right. Yeah. Because she brought so much experience, you know, to our team, and she, you know, and we had, I had never been. Keisha Love was the other brakeman that made the team. She raced with Kaylee Humphreys. I think they placed 7th in the 2-woman event. And, you know, Keisha was new. I think she was on tour, this was her first World Cup tour, but she had only been, I think, in the sport for like a year and a half, 2 years. Oh, wow. You know, so she had a little bit of experience, but she wasn't that seasoned.
She ain't the vet.
No, and then we had Lauren Gibbs also. Lauren Gibbs didn't make the team either, but she was battling some stuff of her own the entire quad, but she was there present all 4 years. Wow. She did her best, you know, and she showed that she was a veteran at the end of it all. That's what's up. When we had our team trials, she had some great numbers, and I'm like, wow, you know, man, Lauren, you giving us a run for it, you know? And, you know, she's also a silver Olympic medalist in Pyeongchang. She won silver 4 years ago. That's what's up. So, like I said, returning Olympians. And, you know, we have Lolo Jones. She's also a returning Olympian. She's a summer and winter Olympic athlete. Come on, Lolo Jones. Lolo. What's up, Lolo? Lolo was up there, man.
We know Lolo Jones now.
Yeah, Lo came back the 3rd year of the quad, and, you know, her and Kaylee, I think, won world championships that first year she came back. So, Lolo came back, and she's like, look, I'm here, I'm trying to make a team. You know, you know, and she's also like, look, I'm trying to win something. Right. So, you know, all respect to Lolo, man. She's, you know, she put down some numbers, you know, she's fast, she's an amazing person, really hard worker. Yeah. And she had been doing it since 2008, you know, and 100-meter hurdles, you know, and then she's been competing. She competed in, I think, her first winter games in Sochi, I think. I think she went to Sochi. Wow. And, you know, I think she competed with Jasmine Finlater, who I think competes with Nigeria now. But still, it's we have these people that are very experienced. Kaylee Humphreys, that second pilot that was on our Olympic team, she won gold in the monobob event. First time ever, the event for the women that's been introduced in the games, monobob. She wins gold. My pilot Alana Myers-Taylor, she wins silver. I'm like, hell yes,
you
man.
Got gang spot.
It was right after the Super Bowl too. We knew the assignment. We knew the assignment. Look, she's like,
very clearly.
Are we being advertised? Okay. You know, so man, when you put stuff out there like that, and you know, we got 2 top, you know, female pilots, you know, of course they're gonna go after. Yeah. And we had they had sleds that were standardized across the field, so there was no, you know, one sled is that much better than the other. It was no, this is a standardized equipment. All of you ladies are going to race with it. May the best pilot win. And you know what they did? They won it.
They won.
They won it too. Let's start it out right. So that's, you know, it was a tough season, but we were able to really accomplish everything. We got 3 medals out of this Olympic Games.
That is so
Hey,
amazing.
let's clap for that.
No, for real.
Let's clap for that. Seriously. Now, so you speak about Lolo Jones and Alana
Mm-hmm.
Myers-Taylor. So who are some of your mentors?
Some of my mentors.
And also how, have they helped you along the way?
I mean, I think we have define mentor. So, I mean, if you want to get a little detail, which I kind of am a detailed person. So
please be detailed.
There's tons of people that I ask for help. I still call my old coaches. I call Coach Wanda Talton. I call Coach Carruthers. I call like Gina Mitchell. I call Cynthia F. Guillory. At one point, I was like, Coach Sand, I got some issues. You know, and it's like I have people that have been in certain situations. Maybe more than I have, or just like in a point where like they can bring me a different perspective. And so like I ask friends, I ask family, like, hey, what do you think about this? Because this is my mindset, but I also need to know, like, am I tripping, or is this like something that's actually real? Right. And I enjoy a good biased opinion. Yeah. Because that means you're being completely honest with me. That means that you're not just trying to say, like, hey, I'm on your team. I'm like, I know you're on a team, but I also need you to be honest with me, because when I'm making these decisions, they're actually very big decisions. Like I think you can even ask my brother Keith. Like, I've called him a few times. I'm like, what do you think of this? He's like, man, that is he was like, you got some questions. You got some problems. I was like, yes. I have done that to a few people to where they're even speechless and they don't even know what to do. So like, it's happened. And like, there's no one in particular, because it's like a team effort.
Yeah, you got a good tribe around.
Yeah, I was like, I can ask several people, and like, I know they're gonna be honest with me. Or there's some people that like I know is just gonna say, hey, you know what, I'm with you regardless. I don't care what like. And sometimes you need that. So like, look, I'll hit that person up and be like, and we can agree on something that really don't even make sense. And I'm just like, I just need to hear it.
I mean, you do need that. I feel strongly you do need that cheerleader. Because sometimes when you're down in the dumps, you just need to feel good and just need to hear what you're doing good. And so, no, I respect that. But you definitely need somebody to be honest with you, too.
For sure.
You can get caught up.
So staying on the subject of the Olympics, man, let's talk about some of the fun stuff. Like,
get into it, bit, Velz.
How was the moment, the feeling of walking into the opening ceremony? That's a big part of the Olympics, the opening ceremony, the closing ceremony. Yeah. How was it?
Man. Oh man, opening ceremony, it was lit. Obviously lit. Like all the countries we're out there, we want to have fun. We also know that it's going to be slightly different because we kind of called it the COVID games. There were still tons of restrictions. So like, because I had competed in 2 University World Games. So what those are, it's the second largest multi-sport event in the world next to the Olympics. So you got Olympics, University World Games, and then there's like Asian Games, European Games, like the continental types of games that you can do. And then there's like the different championships, like world championships and stuff. So, I competed in the Universiade, the summer one, in 2013 when I went to Russia, and then also in 2017 when I went to Taipei. So... What?
I love it. No, I love it. Hey, you talk about places that I can only imagine.
Yeah, I can only dream about them kind of places right now.
I tried to
look. Stamps on my passport.
I try to inspire y'all, man. Just go out, go travel the world. It's amazing things that you can see.
No, but continue on. We didn't mean.
But yeah, you good. So I competed at the Universiade twice, and each time, obviously, COVID wasn't a thing, so you get the full blown event. And the only real difference is I asked the Olympian this before I competed in Russia. I was like, well, what's the difference between a Universiade and the Olympics? Right. And he said, he was like, nothing. He was just like, the biggest thing is the media. He was like, there's tons more media at the Olympics. There's tons more sponsors and rules and stuff at the Olympics. But at the University of World Games, you go compete, but there's Olympians there, there's Olympic champions there, there's medalists there, there's international medalists, there's record holders, world record. Like, you find the entire vast group of people. You got young people that made the team. You got older people that's still making teams. Right. And it's kind of like a group thing. Like, everyone is able to do it. Yeah. If you qualify. Yeah. And for the Olympic Games, you know, I'm walking out Olympic ceremony. I'm like trying to find like, okay, well, what's different from the other one? You know, I just want to know, like, I'm trying to like differentiate because like I had seen like very similar things. And I'm just like, okay, so what's different? But like, I was walking out, obviously we're decked out in Polo Ralph Lauren, you know.
Yeah, that's one thing I love. No,
Polo
seriously.
t-shirt, polo drive.
That's one thing I get kind of jealous about as far as like Olympic athletes.
I want that. I want
is
the gear.
That gear be fire. That
Boy,
USA
I wear
gear
it,
is
I wear
fire.
it every day.
Man, when I tell you we were warm, it was cold as I don't know what. It was freezing outside,
Beijing
but
winter
because
time.
they outfitted us, they knew we were winter athletes. You know, we're in a cold environment. They outfitted us with, you know, everything that we needed to stay warm. You know, so like I said, we out there in polo and just like walk in and then all of a sudden, like we have our flag bearers there.
Yeah.
You know, my pilot, she was actually nominated twice to be flag bearer.
Okay.
So for the opening ceremony, she was supposed to be flag bearer, but because she caught COVID, she wasn't able to do it. She wasn't able to go to opening. So like she's been to several opening ceremonies before, but this time she was supposed to be flag bearer. And, you know, so I think it went. Yeah, I think it went to some speed skaters. You know, and like so we, but it, you know, like they represented or whatever. So you know, we was out there. And like I said, they got the flag, but again, Alana was also renominated as closing ceremony for the flag bearer. So she did it regardless. You know, we wanted it to happen and it did. But yeah, so we got the flag out there, we got Team USA out there, and then all of a sudden, you know, like we're walking out, and I was like, okay, I remember this. You walk out, there's this huge crowd, and like the difference was there wasn't the huge crowd.
Right.
And I was just like, but you still heard cheering from everybody.
Right.
So like everyone's still supporting one another. And then like you're walking out and then all of a sudden I'm like looking and I got my phone up and stuff like this.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm just like,
That was a proud moment for me.
I was like, that's the Olympic rings. That has never been there before. I was like, and then at that moment I was just like, this is for me.
Yeah.
I was just like,
That's for
I was
you.
like, this isn't for no one else
But you.
but me. Yeah, and I was just like, this is for Olympians only.
Yeah.
Right.
And I
Oh,
was just
man.
like, you know what?
Olympians only.
There we go.
I'm getting goosebumps just because at that moment, see, I kid you not, when I was watching you walk out and then watch you snap or Instagram, whatever it was, I got chills because you were there, but I was there. That's how I felt. Like I felt like I was there with you, and I was so proud. Like I'm getting a little emotional.
Oh,
But no, I really was. I was so proud of you, man, because I've seen the growth. I've seen the steady rise and your determination, not giving up and going after yours, and that's inspiring. You know, not to get all preachy and churchy, but that was inspiring to me to
You better preach.
to get me to just keep going. Like no matter what nobody say, keep doing you, keep going, keep your eyes on the prize, because when you do that, you get things like this.
Right.
You hear me? You get things like that. So, man.
You want to
Very
dap, bro? You wanna
inspirational,
dap it
Sil.
No,
up?
man, let's have it up, man. No, seriously. But I mean, that's for anybody out there. Please do not give up on your dreams, because dreams do come true. They may
really do.
seem like that's just you fighting you, but you can, if you believe it, cliche as it is, you can achieve.
You really
Yeah.
can. Seriously.
I'm gonna tell y'all one thing. Y'all better find y'all somebody that believes in you too.
Yeah.
That believes in you more than you do, because that's what happened to me. You know, I always like felt like, you know, like, yes, I'm real athletic. I can do these things. I'm good at this stuff. But it was like, well, what can I be great at? And I was like, well, how do I achieve that greatness? And so then I started saying, I was like, I want to achieve greatness. That's when I started saying those things. And when I ran into the guy, my current coach, Zygmunt, because I met him in Israel in 2012. But then when I moved to Colorado, I didn't know he was a resident athlete coach, and he was a head coach for USA weightlifting. So I started getting to know him a little bit better. He told me about myself. He was just like, yo, you're doing it wrong. And I'm just like, well, what do you mean? He sits me down. I watched some film. He's like, look, you're catching the bar way up here. He was just like, it's like a power clean. He's like, you might as well just keep standing up with it. But he was just like, you catch it here and then you ride it all the way down and then you stand back up. And he was just like, that's so much energy that's being lost. And he was just like, you could be so much better if you just catch it at the bottom and then just stand up with it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, no one ever explained that to me. He's just like, yeah, you need to be doing these exercises. I was just like, well, no one ever explained that to me either. I was like, why no one told me I was doing this wrong?
Right.
And so when he told me that, he's like, you could be a world champion.
Yeah.
He's like, but you're doing these things. You could be an Olympian, but you're doing these things. I kid you not, Zygmunt will literally say, yeah, you know, my friend, he's Olympic champion. Oh, yeah, my friend, he's world champ. This man hangs with world champions and Olympians. Olympians.
Hey, surround
so
yourself.
it's like, I'm like, man, I'm trying to get like that.
Yeah.
And himself, he's an Olympic champion.
Wow.
1972 Olympic Games for Poland. Like, he's a Polish athlete. He's,
so crazy.
I'm like, and this is the guy that's telling, I was like, you know what? Teach me your ways.
Yeah. Surround yourself with people that's been there where you're trying to go.
Yeah.
I
And
believe that.
his belief in me was here.
Yeah.
Mine was here.
Hey, that's why you have him to speak life into you.
Man, we worked we worked on it, and I asked him for help. He said yes. He's like, yes, I'll help you.
That's what's up.
So you better find somebody that's willing to just help and believes in you and knows that, you know, like, knows your potential, or even if they don't, like if they believe in you, like,
Yeah. They'll bring your potential out.
yeah. You'll start believing in yourself even more. And that's what I did. I was like, you know what? I can do this.
Yeah.
I can do that.
You can.
You know, I'm just like, yeah, like, he says stuff like, you're strong. You know, you can do it. You know, like, in weightlifting, that's what you learn. And people don't think about that when they think weightlifting. They think powerlifting. Like, for instance, they go straight to powerlifting. Oh, strong, big, you know, aggressive. You got to be mean. You got to be like, no.
Right.
But Olympic weightlifting is actually very calm and settled for the most part. You have to be very in tune to your body and what you want to accomplish. The snatch is over in like 2 to 3 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, do you really have that much time to be thinking about all these things? No, you just go out there and go perform. But while you're going through the training process, you're hearing, you can do it, you got it, you're strong, you know, like, you know, keep, you know, like, stay tight. All of these cues that you go through in training, then it starts getting ingrained. Like, you know what, I am strong, I can do this.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You know what, like, yeah, I got this, you know, like, and it just kind of compiles, and just like, now you have this complete confidence of like, man, yeah, I got this.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
You have to believe in yourself. Back on the Olympics and back on the day, that race day for that medal. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did y'all break the record for the fastest start time?
Yes, we did.
Come on, man. All right, let me say it more confidently. On that race day, y'all got the fastest start time. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I just want to make sure. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
I remember that. I was in Denver. I remember I was in Denver, and in my hotel room, I said, I don't care what we do, but we better be back in that hotel room so I can watch this goddamn meet race. And that brings me to my next question.
Okay.
You are a black woman.
I am.
Alana.
Yep.
Lyse Taylor is a black woman.
Yep.
How does it feel? Come on, church. How does it feel to be an all-black women bobsled team, and that we're not really represented in, to win that medal right there? How does that feel?
Well, it does feel really great. I want to say that, you know, we didn't have an all-black women's bobsled team. Okay. But, you know, so we had 2 sleds at the Olympics. We had my sled with Alana Myers-Taylor, and then we had another sled with Kaylee Humphrey. Right. And Keisha Love. So we weren't a complete team of black athletes, but we did have a sled that had 2 black athletes in it. And, you know, Alana, we've both been through a lot. I think she's been in the sport, you know, like, for a long time, 16 years or so. Wow. And, you know, it is a white European male dominated sport. Yep. So we get those sexism things. We get those racism things. And it happens, and it's like, it's kind of like apparent, like, wow, this just happened, or they just said these things. So we've experienced different things throughout our life, but she's experienced more in the bobsled realm. Okay. When I got acquainted, I was kind of like, this is unbelievable, but it's also believable. Right. Because it is part of people's everyday thing that they don't want to say on the news. Of course. And, you know, like, as a black athlete, black female athlete, winning a bronze medal, continuing a legacy of that 2-women bobsled event for USA Bobsled, winning a 2-women event and medaling, you know, like, it's big. You know, like, we get to continue a legacy. And, you know, like I said, Asia Evans was part of it. Lauren Gibbs was part of it. Venata Flowers, she was part of it. And, you know, Alana Myers-Taylor, she's also part of it. Like, all of us have been able to accomplish these great advances within our sport. Right. In a winter sport, she is now the most decorated female black athlete in winter sports. Wow.
Wow. Let's can we give it up for Alana?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get that up for Alana.
Yeah. Yeah. And, she was just like, I didn't even know this until they said something. But you know what? That's what happens when you focus on the goal in front of you. She won silver in monobob, and then we won the bronze in a two-woman event. And with that being said, we did break the start record. Yeah. She is, one of the fastest, I'm not going to say one of the fastest. She's the fastest driver in the world. Yeah, she's been that. If she didn't have multiple start records to back that up, then I would say most. But she has been doing this since she was a break woman going into Vancouver. So, for me to be able to race with someone of that talent, of that high level talent, I was like, I'm honored. Because I was like, I'm also trying to be the fastest woman in the world. And, we were able to do that. I was able to be that. I was like, you know what, I want to be the fastest break woman in the world. And then she was like, all right, cool. This is what you want to do? Come race with me. Come race with me. That's what she literally said.
She believed in you.
Yeah, she's believed in me. And, I think our first season, we broke a start record in Latvia. And that was the thing. It was just like, okay, this is where we know what we need to do. And, so she was just like, well, here's your chance. She was like, every break woman that I've raced with, we all have start records at these, Olympic tracks. She was just like, so you gonna try?
She set the bar. She set the bar for you.
So you gonna mess this up for us, or you gonna continue that legacy?
Right. Yeah, bring it up to here, huh?
Yeah.
She set that bar.
We had that start record, and then we broke the start record in the third heat. So
amazing.
Yeah.
So the Olympics, that's a big stage to compete on.
Yeah.
What do you do to protect your mental health, and how do you relax before a big competition day? We'll get back to the day of the race, but what do you do to protect your mental health, and then how do you relax before a big competition day?
Well, I stay away from negative energy. So if you don't have anything positive to say, I might say something, or I'm just like, I'm good, I'm out, so I'll remove myself from situations that are very negative. I do that in and out of competition, but when it comes down to competing, that's what it is, it's competing. I love competing. Yeah. I can probably do any sport that I really want to do because I love competing. And so for the Olympic Games, it wasn't any different, and each Olympian that I spoke to, on whatever level they were on, they all said the same thing. Anything can happen at the Olympic Games. Regardless of what happens at the test events, anything can happen at the Olympic Games. Right. And and they also said, well, this isn't a different competition. It's the same competition. You're competing against the same people that you've been competing against all 4 years. And that part I already knew because I love the competition part. The thing that was different for me was like, oh, okay, so things could change for the Olympics. Anything can happen. Any outcome can happen. Yes. But as far as mindset, it's just like there's people that I keep close to me. Like I said, I keep in touch with certain people at certain times, and I'm just like, look, this is what's going on. We have sports psychologists that come with us. We had, Dr. Mara Smith, she was at the games with us, so she was able to be in person if we needed her. Yeah. We also had staff members that were very helpful, like Morgan Tracy. She was amazing. She was staying in a village with us. I was like, I have these problems. I don't know what to do. Yeah. We have people like that that's able to talk. We got the medical staff, they're always there to help, not just with our, physical well needs, but if we need to talk, which we tend to do anyway, when we're laying down getting worked on, it's they're there to help us, be the best that we can be.
I love that.
So that's what I keep in mind when I go through all of these things.
So I got another little question for you. So, just to kind of bring us down a little bit, what music do you listen to get you in the zone, get you ready to go out there and
what's
beat
playing
somebody?
In your AirPods?
And let me tell you, Megan Thee Stallion, she there were several tracks, several tracks from her that's been put into my playlist. I got the station on there, but I got also other stations. I play Lady Gaga. She got a wide range of songs and her radio station on I can't be rapping this but anyway. But we got there's tons of people. Sometimes I listen to slow jam. Sometimes I listen to hip hop and rap. Sometimes I listen to R&B. I've had country a few times, but it just depends on the track itself. We have one of the toughest tracks in Germany, Altenburg, and I literally listen to love music because I wanted to make love to this track because this track will kick your ass. It will hurt if you hit the curve wrong. So it's certain tracks are for certain things, but Megan, You was top. You was talking to the trash talk. You was talking to shit. I was like, you know what? I feel you. Right? Yeah. You know, I feel you. Nicki Minaj, I feel you. Oh. Yes, ladies. I was like, give this to me.
Yo, y'all hear that? Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj on the playlist. Getting that medal.
Yes.
Cool. So we're gonna. We only got a
we
only
got like a couple more minutes.
I had so much more to ask
I know.
you, but
we run out that good old time.
So let's talk about the day of the competition, the day of the Olympics. How were you feeling that morning? Okay, and during the race, right, and then after you achieved your goal of medaling.
I don't recall what I felt that morning. We had a night race, so I think I tried to sleep as much as possible, rest, take a nap at some point. But it was more so just like you're already in a mindset, and it's just like nothing else matters except for what you came to do, which is and do the best that you can. Everything at that point is involuntary. So like once you step on the line, like especially like once you leave the start house and you walk in and now you're on the line, it's like it's a little nerve wracking, but it's like a good nerve wracking. Like it's not like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm about to do, how am I gonna do this, and you thinking too much. It's like, no, like, okay, we about to handle this. All right, you a little nervous, but you also like ready to get to it. Yeah. And once we hit the sled and went down the hill, I was just like, it's a wrap. Like
y'all in it now.
Do or die at this point.
Yeah.
Do or die.
Yeah.
I love that. So we're gonna get to a few fun questions really quick before we let you go. For starters, who's your favorite football team?
Well, I was born in Philly, and I feel like I was, maybe even moved to Texas against my will because I was 4 years old. But, I'm an Eagles fan, man. I got to keep it Eagles, baby.
I'm going to let you have it.
I love it. Yes, let me have it.
But she's in cowboy country.
I'm in the United States. That's what country I'm in.
Right, no, that part.
I'm going to let her make it, child.
All right, Sylvia. So you've been a lot of places, right? You've been blessed enough to travel pretty much some places in the world. What are your top 3 places that you've visited?
My top 3. I've seen some very beautiful places out in Germany, so I have to say Germany. Okay. St. Moritz, Switzerland. Obviously, these are things all outside of my own country, United States. But I want to say the next place, La Plagne, France. I think they hosted a Winter Games at one point. And it was a very beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place that we hosted a World Cup race there. So I will have to say those places just because the views are amazing. The food was amazing and the people were amazing.
Yeah. I'm definitely a sucker for a good view. I love a view. Man, oh my gosh, I love good food.
Y'all trying to come to Colorado or what?
Hey man, I love Colorado. I love Colorado.
Would love to.
I love it. Now, Sylvia, so you clearly traveled, competed, won that beautiful bronze medal that's sitting on this table right now. What's to come for you? What do you have next? What's going on with you going forward?
Well, one of the reasons why it took me so long to come back and visit Texas and everyone here is because after the season was over, after the Olympic Games were over in China, I went straight back to Lake Placid, New York to learn how to drive a bobsled. So I am preparing to be a bobsled pilot. I will be driving the sled down the hill, not just pushing it. So I'll drive that thing. And I intend to fully compete at these next Olympic Games in Milano Cortina in 2026. So as a bobsled pilot. So I started that journey, like a few years ago. I've worked my way up here and now I'm driving one. I'm practicing. I'm learning the tracks from the driver's seat. But I'm in Colorado Springs. I'm looking for brake women. Now that I'm no longer a brake woman, that also opens up opportunity for people to come. If you're fast, come on, come out, I want to see you. I want to meet you. USA Bobsled Skeleton, we're looking for athletes for both sports, both skeleton and bobsled. But we're going to need some push athletes. We just had 4 of us, we were, pretty much Olympians. We have 4 Olympians right now that's part of the USA Bobsled national team. So we're going to need some people to come fill those places, and there's some big places to fill. We need fast brakemen. We need strong, powerful, explosive, all these people. I came from basketball. You can go track and field, basketball. We have Olympic silver medalist Shauna Roebuck from soccer. You can do different things. We have football players. We have it doesn't matter which sport. We have baseball players. My pilot, she was a softball player. She's obviously she's really great. And you can come from different backgrounds and still be successful.
Right.
Not everyone's going to be speedy fast from the beginning, but if you have some type of running background, like that has some type of explosiveness, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
You can be taught certain things, and we can also see how fast you are. So as long as you say, hey, you know what, I want to try it out, the only way that we're going to know if you're fast is if you just push. We have rookie camps that's coming up in the summer in Lake Placid, New York. You can try out for the USA bobsled team. You can do a rookie push camp. I won my first rookie push championships my first year, so it's possible. And then you can do an online combine right now with USA Bobsled Skeleton. So if you want to, go online, type in USA Bobsled Skeleton Combine, virtual combine, and you can submit your stuff online. I'm also doing my own little version of combines. I'm looking for push athletes. I want people to come out. I want people to train with me. I'm in Colorado Springs, but if you have something set up, say, hey, you know what? We have this group of people. We want you to come out, and we want to see. We want you to help us and see if we have anyone that can be very successful. Because I have a really good eye for certain things, and that's talent. So I want people to come out. I want people to train. I want to see if you're fast. I want to see like what you're capable of. So I'm looking for brakemen. Like I'm going to be going down the tracks. I'm looking for brakemen to hop in the sled with me to push as fast as possible so that we can have a better opportunity for this upcoming games, because the last 2 Olympic Games, I believe, for the United States, we've only had 2 female sleds on, at the games. We can have a maximum of 3 women's sleds. You know what the problem is? Our Canadian northern counterparts up there, they've been kicking our butts. So long story short, we have to get it together so we can have three sleds at the Olympic Games. More sleds create more opportunity. And, like I said, we've been winning the 2-women event as far as like medaling each time in the Olympics since it's been there. So to continue that, we need people to say, hey, you know what, I want to be part of that.
Okay. And where will you be holding these camps / tryouts and things like that?
The majority of the time, I live in Colorado Springs, Colorado. It's Olympic City, USA. I'm going to be out there this entire summer training. I'm just now starting my training, so this is the perfect time. I have a push cart that is available. So like the thing that I use to become number 1 in the country, that's what I did hours of time on that. So like we're going to be able to do push sessions. I have a gym that is very admirable, Pinnacle Weightlifting. They've been there since I moved to Colorado Springs, and they've helped me get better as a weightlifter and as a bobsled athlete. So we have weightlifting facility, we have running tracks, we have, places that you can do push training on. So it's like, all of that's going to be there. If we set up that time, you say, hey, you know what, I want to come out. I was like, okay, cool. And I'll do the rest. But we can just sit down, email it out, bob.teamhoffman@gmail.com, and we'll figure it out. Because I want you guys to come out. I want you guys to say, hey, I want to be part of Team USA. I want to wear the USA on my back. I want to represent my country, my people, my friends, my family. So if we can do that, that's a good start. We have the whole summer. It's the first year of a 4-year quad. There's 4 years in a quad going up to the Olympic Games. We're in the first year right now. This is the perfect time to get involved with anything is meaning more like today is the day.
Right.
Today is the day. What is better than, what's the best time to start today?
Yeah.
Today.
Love that.
Understood. Well, Syl, let these people know where they can reach you, see you, follow you, and all that kind of stuff. Drop your social medias for everybody.
Yeah, so I'm definitely on Instagram at Miss_Sylvia Hoffman. That's MS_Sylvia Hoffman. I have a complete website with everything that you need to know. That's Sylvia-Hoffman.com. And I'm also on Tin Can, where I'm teaching classes. I'm teaching mental development classes. I'm teaching how to do positions, where I'm doing analytical things. I'm saying, hey, you know what? I have this class that says, you know what? You can learn how to become a champion. The first time I became a champion was in basketball, and now I'm an Olympic bronze medalist. So these things will help you develop yourself into being the best athlete that you can be. And I'm teaching classes on that on Tin Can. So you guys go out, see those sites. I'm there. Shoot me some messages. Like I said, my email is bob.teamhoffman@gmail.com. I'm the one that receives these emails. So you're able to speak directly to me. This isn't like a filtered situation. This is going directly to me. And you'll be able to contact me otherwise. If you want to sponsor, if you want to donate, if you want to be a partner, like you're going to have those opportunities to do that on my website. And you can submit those forms and say, hey, you know what? I want to partner with you. You know what? I want to sponsor you. Oh, you know what? Let's work together. Let's when can I get my logo, my brand out there? Because that's what we do in bobsled. Your logos go on our helmets, on our sleds, you know, and the world gets to see that every single time we compete. So, you know, if you want to do those things, if you want to have those opportunities, hit me up, because I'm all for it. Like I said, I plan on being a bobsled pilot in this next Olympic Games.
You will be.
I told people before, like, hey, I plan on competing at the Olympic Games.
You're going back.
I want a medal at the Olympic Games. So
Yes, ma'am.
this is one of those things where I'm just like, look, I'm telling you what I want to do. This is how I want to do it. I want to bring people on. You know, like, let's do this as soon as possible, because you know what's the best time to do it? The best time is now.
Yeah.
And you get to be advertised across the world, across different platforms, and just be part of that.
Love that, Sylvia. So this will be the last thing we do. This is something that we're gonna start adding into our show whenever we have guests, and you are our special guest today. So we just want to know, what is your definition of being locked in?
Completely focused on, I'm not going to say kill, but kill. It's just being focused and knowing exactly what I want to do and how I want to do it. That's my definition of locked in.
Dang.
I love it. Short, sweet, and to the point.
Damn, locked in.
Kill.
Man, I cannot thank you enough for coming out.
We appreciate you.
Chit-chatting with us. Like I said, we've been knowing Sylvia for a very, very long time. And to me, I feel like her success is our success. Like I said before, I was at the Olympic Games with her. I was just so proud of her. Yes. And again, thank you.
Did you feel my fatigue? Because I was really
well,
tired.
no, I can't say that I felt that. I'm not gonna lie.
But it's very tired.
But I was very, very, very proud. And thank you.
Yes,
it's been an honor.
Yes.
And I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. It's been an honor to sit here and just have, you know, this conversation with you. And again, thank you for coming to Loc'd N Sports.
Of course. Y'all my girls.
We're going to stay locked in.
Definitely.
And like you said, reach out to her. We need more Black female athletes out there in these winter games. Let's be more represented.
Yes.
Because we can do it.
Yeah.
We definitely can do it. And don't let nobody tell you that you can't. Anything that you want to do in life is very achievable. This is a living testimony right here.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
So we're gonna go ahead and get out of here like this. It's been Loc'd N Sports. You can find us on Facebook at Loc'd N Sports. Instagram is Loc'd_N_sports. You can also find us on Twitter by the same name, Loc'd_N_sports.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure, Sylvia. Again, my name is Lyse.
And it was your girl Velz, a.k.a. Kevelle, if that's what you want to call me.
And it's been Loc'd In.
Loc'd In Sports, baby.
All right.
I like sports, and that's it.